What's up, my crazy cats? Philly Frenzy Podcast is back. I'm your host, Matt. As always, I'm here with my buddy Rob. What is going on, Rob?
Back here for show number 2 today. Little NBA talk, little Sixers talk specifically. So excited to get into it.
All right, so we're gonna do our tip-off, our NBA tip-off tonight, as we are going to be covering the Brooklyn Nets versus the Milwaukee Bucks and how Kyrie Irving will not be suiting up tonight. And we got the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 2 of opening night. We are not expected to see Klay Thompson until at least Christmas time, so we will get a no Klay Warriors team and a no Kyrie Brooklyn team with a very good matchup to start the NBA season. But before we get into what is going on tonight, let's get into what Joel Embiid had to say right after Ben Simmons gets suspended for Game 1 of the season tomorrow night.
At this point, I don't care about that man, honestly. He does whatever he wants. That's not my job. That's those guys' jobs. I'm only focused on trying to make the team better, win some games, play hard every night, and try to lead, the guys that we have here. And I'm sure they feel the same way because, our chemistry has been excellent. Despite everything that's been happening in the last few months, like I said, I don't really care. At this point, I don't care.
So what we're getting out of Sixers camp is that Joel Embiid does not care about Ben Simmons, which we all knew, but now it is taken it to another level. So after practice today, Ben Simmons was sent home by Doc Rivers, suspended for the first game of the season, after he had made comments about the Philadelphia 76ers, which we all expected him to have a press conference today, say some things, and move on. But, Ben Simmons isn't happy with being in Philadelphia. Philadelphia isn't happy with Ben Simmons. What it sounds like is Ben stepped in line, Doc suspended him, Joel doesn't care about him. Rob, what you got on this?
Typical Ben Simmons. I don't know what else to say. The kid doesn't want to be here, and he knows that if he gets suspended, then he still gets to collect his check, but he doesn't have to play for the team. So I feel like he almost did this on purpose. I think he may be trying to long run force a situation where the Sixers could give him conduct detrimental to a high enough degree that they can void his contract so he can go elsewhere, because I think not only does he not want to play here, but he doesn't want to let us trade him because he doesn't want the Sixers to get anything for him.
So I did see on Twitter there are a lot of people talking about this incident and what Philadelphia has done wrongfully and keeping Ben Simmons here in Philadelphia, which I completely disagree with these people on Twitter. You don't trade Ben Simmons for nothing. Okay, we all know that Ben Simmons can't shoot. But nobody is going to sit in front of a microphone. Nobody's going to sit behind a keyboard. Nobody's going to go to a basketball game and say Ben Simmons is not a athlete who is very good at the sport. The issue is, he has an ego. He doesn't like to shoot. We all know he can defend. We all know he can pass. So, you don't trade somebody at that level, pretty much a star in the NBA, for absolutely nothing. I've seen some of these trade offers that have been thrown out there. Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, and number one pick, top 10 protected, is the stupidest thing I ever saw. You're not trading Ben Simmons for a number one, top 10 protected Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. You're not getting another big man. Why would you go and get Marvin Bagley, who can't spread the floor, to go with Joel Embiid, who doesn't want to spread the floor, but has to because he plays with Ben Simmons? Doesn't make sense. The only way you move Ben Simmons today is if Portland or Washington finally answer the phone or call you and say, Dame Lillard or Bradley Beal are coming to Philadelphia. You're trading me Ben. You're trading me Maxey. You're trading me picks. Besides that, I'm not interested in any other one of these deals. Ben Simmons, guess what? You're under contract. Come to damn games. Play your damn games. I'm happy you got suspended instead of faking an injury because that's exactly what I thought you were going to do. So the suspension's right up your alley. So, you know, that's just how I feel about this whole situation. I don't want to sit here and dawn on what's going on with Ben Simmons in Philadelphia because I feel like we've had this conversation many times that he should have been traded multiple off seasons ago. But before Daryl Morey, front office thought they could change him. They couldn't change him, and now we're stuck with him, and I'm not trading him for nothing. Rob, what's your input on Ben, and then let's jump into the actual games.
I 100% agree with you. It's definitely not you don't trade an asset when it's at its lowest value, which is what it was during the offseason for Ben Simmons compared to what his trade value would be at the trade deadline this year when teams are going, oh man, we're really close to what we think is a championship roster, and if we could get a guy with Ben Simmons' talent.
Oh no, I think we lost Rob.
To trade him, unless, like you said, you get that call from Portland or Washington. Here, here's Bradley Beal, here's Dame Lillard, because those are the only two guys that you're getting equal value by sending out. Now, you said Simmons and Maxey, but it also may be Thibault as well to get that deal done, and I'd still be okay with it.
I'd be okay with it if we're not giving up 3 first-round picks with Maxey, Thibault, and Ben. But I don't want to have that conversation. This isn't the I Hate Ben Simmons show today, even though we both hate Ben Simmons. So let's get into let's get into the actual tip-off tonight, where we have Brooklyn in Milwaukee. Milwaukee more than likely will get their championship rings tonight, as they are looking to repeat, which, in my opinion, should not even be a topic of an opportunity to repeat, as I don't feel they are even going to get to the NBA Finals again. We get to see a Brooklyn team without Kyrie Irving, which is going to probably be what the looks of it is for most of the season until either A, Kyrie is traded, or B, Kyrie gets vaccinated. I will tell you this right now. I'm currently not vaccinated, and I'm not going to tell Kyrie that he needs to get vaccinated. What Kyrie wants to do is Kyrie's decision ultimately. There's a lot of stories coming out of NBA and NFL players that have ended up getting blood clots in their legs after getting the COVID shot. So I understand where Kyrie's coming from. I understand he also thinks that the earth is flat, but that doesn't make what he's doing with not getting the shot stupid. He has a voice. That's why we live in America. And what Kyrie decides to do is what Kyrie decides to do. Getting on to the actual topic of Brooklyn and Milwaukee, this is going to be a good game. To me, Rob, I feel like this Brooklyn team is a lot closer than they were at the end of the year when they played Milwaukee and got beat. This is regular season basketball, so I'm not expecting the intensity to be as high as it was in the playoffs. But I do believe Brooklyn is going to walk out of Milwaukee 1-0. I think James Harden and Kevin Durant are capable of carrying this team.
They're both healthy too. And they weren't against Milwaukee, so that's all the difference you need. The two of them are better than the top two guys in Milwaukee by, in my opinion, a good amount. I think Kevin Durant is better than Giannis. I think James Harden is better than any other player on Milwaukee.
Middleton.
So
Drew.
I guess Middleton's there too.
Yeah.
I would say more Drew, I guess. But either way, James Harden's better than those guys. I also do agree with your sentiment that Kyrie Irving will be on the move. His market is not high, so don't expect to see like some blockbuster trade involving him. He's going to get traded somewhere for like a few role players and a pick maybe. And that actually, I think, would help Brooklyn's roster because I think they need more depth, and they could trade away Kyrie Irving, a quote-unquote star who's not even playing for them, and even when he can play for them is always injured anyway, uh, to get some depth and role talent that team desperately needs. So I think they actually are gonna be better once they get rid of Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, like I said, I got Milwaukee losing this game at home against Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn goes in, ruins the whole ceremony. The one thing that I do like about this, or I'm going to be interested in watching this game, is what Giannis has done in the offseason and then what he did in preseason games. Does it hold up in actual NBA games? Did he actually expand his range? Is he shooting at a higher clip, mid-range wise, and at the three-point line? So, that's my biggest takeaways that I'm looking for during this Milwaukee Brooklyn game. Not so much, how great Kevin and James play, not healthy or now healthy, not injured. We already know how that works. It's going to be interesting to see how they do together, both fully healthy. But my biggest thing is, can Giannis actually continue to strive on what he did in the offseason, something that Ben Simmons doesn't want to do, and take that next step forward and, have that mid-range to the three-point line where he is more dominant compared to what he was in past seasons. Switching to...
If he puts that into his game at a good enough clip that teams have to respect his range, he, in my opinion, instantly becomes the best player in the world.
I agree. I believe that he would be he'd be a better scorer than Kevin. And I think think Kevin's the best.
Even if he's just the second best guy to Kevin in scoring, he's so much better than Durant at defense. Giannis is the best defender in the league, in my opinion. He's the most versatile, most talented defensive player in the league right now. He's so explosive. He can cover so much area on the floor. Defensively, he's insane. He can be dominant scoring, but one of his detriments is teams will hack him down low. So if they can force him to have to guard him and he can score off of his shot, that's going to jump his scoring to that elite level, and that instantly makes him the best player in the world to me, and that changes everything about how I feel about the Bucks.
Going from the early game to the nightcap game where we get the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, we do not get Clay.
Surprise, surprise.
We do not get Clay yet
again.
Biggest
West Coast teams. No Clay. That hurts.
Clay, from what I've been reading, he's a month away from full contact in practice, which means we're looking at about a Christmas Day return, which is exciting to finally get Clay back after almost 3 years. I mean, it's been 2, but it feels like more like 3 after the bubble and everything going on, him not being able to play at the beginning of this year. So I feel like we're going to be closer to that 3-year mark when he finally does come back. No Clay. On the other side, you get KD. Whew. KD was on this Lakers team, we'd be having a different podcast.
Jesus.
On the Lakers side, we get to see AD. Hopefully, he's fully healthy. We get to see 2 new players in Russell Westbrook and in Carmelo Anthony team up with LeBron James. My thing with this game is, I'm not going to pick a winner like I did with Milwaukee Brooklyn, because I'm looking a little bit more in depth with this game. And my question for you, Rob, is how different does Russell Westbrook's game change for this Lakers team to be at a competitive level? Because I don't feel Russell Westbrook of the Washington Wizards, Houston Rockets, or Oklahoma City Thunder make this team better. I believe he makes this team worse.
So here's the thing. I think during the minutes he's out there with LeBron, you will see him play a different style of game. But there's going to be stretches, and I think this is the biggest reason they brought Westbrook there, and it's going to pay off huge dividends. They are going to try and probably rest LeBron a little bit more and give stretches to Russell Westbrook without LeBron on the floor and tell him to play his game. And he's going to ease the burden of having to play 40 minutes a game at, 40 years old or whatever LeBron is now, 39, I think he'll be this season. And it's going to allow LeBron to be healthy for the playoffs, which is what they didn't have last year. And it's going to allow Anthony Davis to be healthy for the playoffs, which is what they didn't have last year. So I think that they want to use him as that Russell Westbrook of like OKC and Washington in stretches to allow him to take over some games, to allow LeBron and Anthony Davis to be able to take some time off and stay healthy. Just my thoughts. So with that, by the way, I will say Lakers win tonight.
It's Lakers until Klay comes back. I do believe that. I do believe Klay is going to take this Golden State team to another level. I do believe that, I didn't really think about this. I didn't sit down and go, all right, let me make a Twitter post and have a conversation or, try to work on some graphics here. And I didn't expect to do this tonight, but I'm going to do it right now. My MVP frontrunner for the season is Steph Curry. And I believe that Steph is going to get this Warriors team in a position to be back in the Western Conference Finals this season. And Klay's going to play a big part in it. And why I'm making this comment is I believe that what we see tonight with Brooklyn and Milwaukee and then Golden State and the Lakers is a possible Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals setup. I believe this could be the 4 teams that end up playing at the end of the season to go to the finals. So we might get a little sneak peek.
I wouldn't be shocked at all. I wouldn't be shocked at all because I agree with you. Once the Golden State Warriors get Klay Thompson back, if he's back, you know what I mean? If he looks the same as he used to, or even 85% of what he used to be, he changes the game for Golden State. So I think they could be a team that's in the mix for a title by the end of the year. You could see this as your Final Four. There are some other good teams on both conferences, but these are 2 powerhouses when they're healthy and they have other guys.
Also, quick mention, before we shut it down, quick mention, DeAndre Ayton is very unhappy with the Phoenix Suns and not agreeing to a max deal. So we'll see how much that plays out in Phoenix and how much DeAndre Ayton actually goes out there and hoops at the level that we all believe that he can play at. I'm still not sold DeAndre Ayton is worth that kind of money, so I respect the Phoenix Suns for not just dumping the money into him to shut him up. But that's going to be a developing story throughout the whole season and how different DeAndre Ayton plays, if he plays any different. So I got Brooklyn winning tonight. I got the Lakers winning tonight. Rob, I know you said Brooklyn and the Lakers as well.
Yeah, Brooklyn and the Lakers. I think Brooklyn's going to take it. I think the Brooklyn Milwaukee game is going to be a really fun one to watch, though. 2 very different styles of team playing each other. So you're going to get to see all of the stars go off because Kevin Durant's going to get his, and I don't think Brooklyn has a good enough rim protector to stop Giannis down low, so Giannis is going to get his on the other side as well. I think that's going to be an exciting game.
All right, so 7 o'clock Eastern is tip-off on TNT. Brooklyn, Milwaukee, start of the NBA season. Seems like it's going to be a good one. I feel like there's at least 9-10 teams in the Western Conference that are going to play really well this season. So I feel like this is going to be a really good NBA regular season, something we haven't had in a couple years. But, if you liked what you heard today on this NBA podcast, make sure you hit that like, that sub, that comment button. Drop a comment. Let us know how you feel. Turn the noties on. Every time we go live or we post a new video, you need to get that notification. But on Twitter, you can follow us at Philly Frenzy PC for the main Twitter page, or you can follow myself at White Daddy Shaq, or my co-host here, Rob, at Rob Danka. If you got Facebook, type in a little search bar, Philly Frenzy Podcast, hit that like button. That's where we drop all of our graphics. We drop all of our comments that we're looking for feedback from, the viewers, the listeners, everybody out there. We will be back at some point this week. I'm not going to give you a specific day as I don't know yet. But we will be covering the MLB. Hopefully we get a little bit closer to what is going on and who we get in the World Series, as my second favorite team, Boston Red Sox, are killing the Houston Astros starting pitching squad with a 20.25 ERA so far through 3 games. But make sure you stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button on Facebook. Stay intact with us. Until next time, Philly Frenzy out.